There are moments in life when a single decision reveals who people truly are. Sarah Thompson gave everything she had to one company for 3 years. She worked late nights, solved impossible problems, and became the employee everyone relied on. Her boss praised her in meetings, thanked her in front of clients, and promised that when the next management position opened, she would be the first person considered. Sarah believed him because she had earned that trust. But on the morning she expected her dream to come true, she watched someone else walk away with the promotion she had worked so hard to deserve. What happened next left the entire office speechless and forced her boss to chase after the one employee he never thought he could lose. Stay with me until the end, because this isn't just a story about disappointment. It's a story about respect, kindness, and how one simple act of compassion can change lives in ways no promotion ever could. Before we begin, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to my channel Heart Touch Tales, and leave a comment telling us where you're watching from. Your support helps us share more heartwarming stories that remind us kindness still exists in the world. Now, let's begin. Sarah was 32 years old and lived in Chicago, where she worked as a senior operations coordinator for a fast-growing logistics company. From her very first day, she became known as the person who never said no to a challenge. If someone called in sick, Sarah covered the shift. If a customer had an urgent problem, she stayed late until it was solved. When new employees joined the company, she patiently trained them, even though it wasn't part of her job. Her coworkers admired her because she treated everyone with kindness. She remembered birthdays, brought coffee to exhausted teammates during busy weeks, and never took credit for someone else's ideas. She believed that success meant lifting others up instead of stepping over them. Her manager, David Reynolds, noticed everything Sarah did. During quarterly meetings, he often pointed to her as the example every employee should follow. If everyone worked like Sarah, he would say with a smile, this company would be unstoppable. Those words made Sarah hopeful. When David quietly mentioned that a new operations manager position would soon become available, he looked directly at her and said, "Keep doing what you're doing. You've earned this." For months, Sarah worked even harder. She led difficult projects, improved company systems, and helped increase customer satisfaction to the highest level the department had ever achieved. Everyone in the office believed the promotion already belonged to her. Even Sarah allowed herself to imagine walking into her parents' home with the good news. They had sacrificed so much to help her through college, and she couldn't wait to tell them their daughter had finally reached the career milestone she had dreamed about for years. Then Monday morning arrived. The entire staff gathered in the conference room. David stepped to the front with a proud smile. "I'd like everyone to congratulate our new operations manager." Sarah held her breath. Michael Carter. For a moment, the room fell completely silent. Sarah blinked, convinced she had heard the wrong name. Then everyone began clapping. Michael looked shocked himself as he walked to the front of the room. Sarah forced a smile and politely applauded with everyone else. But inside, her heart quietly broke. Sarah congratulated Michael with a sincere smile before quietly returning to her desk. She didn't want anyone to see the tears forming in her eyes. Michael was a good person, and none of this was his fault. He looked uncomfortable, almost as if he knew the promotion should have gone to someone else. That afternoon, David stopped by Sarah's office. "I know this wasn't easy," he said, "but Michael has more management experience. I'm sure you'll have another opportunity." Sarah looked at him calmly. "You told me to keep proving myself. I believed you." David lowered his eyes, but said nothing. Sarah reached into her desk drawer, pulled out a neatly folded envelope, and handed it to him. "My resignation." David stared at it in disbelief. "You're quitting?" She nodded. "I've given this company 3 of the best years of my life. I don't regret the work I did, but I can't stay somewhere that keeps asking for loyalty without giving honesty in return." Without raising her voice or showing anger, Sarah packed a small box with her family photo, a coffee mug, and the notebook she carried every day. Before leaving, she walked through the office, thanking every coworker for their friendship. She hugged the receptionist, wished Michael success in his new role, and even smiled at David. "I truly hope this company succeeds," she said softly. Take care of the people who stay. Then she walked out the front door. The office felt strangely quiet after she left. Over the next few weeks, David began noticing the impact Sarah had made. Projects she once handled effortlessly started falling behind. Customers specifically asked for her by name. New employees admitted they felt lost without her guidance. Even Michael struggled to keep up with responsibilities Sarah had managed without complaint. For the first time, David realized Sarah hadn't just been his best employee, she had been the heart of the team. One evening, while reviewing old performance reports, he found a folder Sarah had left behind. Inside were pages of handwritten notes. They weren't complaints. They weren't requests for a raise. They were ideas for improving teamwork, reducing employee stress, and creating a mentorship program for new hires. At the very end, she had written one sentence. Asterisk, people don't stay because of paycheck. They stay because they feel valued. Asterisk, David sat silently, reading those words again and again. The next morning, he drove across the city to the small nonprofit where Sarah had recently started volunteering while searching for a new career. He found her organizing donated school supplies for children from low-income families. She looked surprised to see him. "What are you doing here?" she asked. David took a deep breath. "I came to apologize." Sarah remained silent. "I broke my promise," he admitted. "I kept telling myself I was making the safest business decision. But I forgot something far more important. I forgot to value the person who spent 3 years making everyone around her better." He handed her a folder. "I want you to come back, not just with the promotion you deserved, but with the authority to build the kind of workplace you've always believed in." Sarah looked down at the folder but didn't open it. Instead, she smiled gently. "You know what I've learned since leaving?" David shook his head. "Kindness is never wasted. Whether it's appreciated today or years later, it always leaves a mark." For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Finally, Sarah accepted the folder. "I'll come back," she said, "but only if we promise something. Anything. We treat every employee with honesty, respect, and kindness. No empty promises. No taking loyal people for granted." David smiled for the first time in weeks. "You have my word." Months later, the company had changed in ways no one expected. Employee turnover dropped, teamwork improved, and people genuinely enjoyed coming to work. Sarah became the leader she had always deserved to be. Not because she demanded respect, but because she earned it through kindness every single day. Sometimes the greatest success isn't getting the promotion you wanted. It's helping people become better than they were before. Kindness has a way of opening hearts, restoring trust, and changing lives. If this story touched your heart, remember this. Appreciate the people who stand beside you before they're gone. A simple act of honesty, gratitude, or kindness today could become someone else's reason to keep believing tomorrow.